Hello guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. My name is CPA Makan. I hope and believe that you are strong and powerful to watch my videos right away from the beginning to the end to learn something special for your case. I hope and believe also that you have subscribed to my YouTube, and I would like to thank for those who have actually done the same. They have subscribed, liked, and invited as many friends as possible to like my YouTube. Thirdly is to say thank you so much for those actually who are still sharing. I welcome you to continue with the same. And what I would like you to note is that the videos are free of charge. If you find somebody who is selling this particular video, kindly share with me on 0734537777 and I'll be able to follow up on the same. Thirdly is to request you to continue supporting this particular YouTube, especially on the issue of giving you a way on how we can make the YouTube strong. Therefore, welcome and enjoy the topic on measurement of central tendency. Now, when we talk about measurement of central tendency, we are actually referring to a particular figure that can be used to represent the entire data of that particular statistics, or it can mean something that can represent the entire population is what we call what? Central tendency. This particular central tendency or a value is very critical for speaking and summarizing the entire population. That is to say that it's only one that can able to represent and show you the entire population. The characteristics are the same. When you go and study a particular animal or a particular thing, you find that the same characteristic are the same that is possessed by this particular unique number. That is, we are calling it what? Central tendency. Another word for central tendency is what we call an average. You call what? Average. So when you talk about an average, you are just talking about that unique number that is mainly used to represent the entire data. Besides that, we can also say, yes, then we have several types of central tendency or averages. So the first one is what we call arithmetic mean. Arithmetic mean. That is the first average that can be used to present the entire data. The second one is what we call median. Median is the middle number. Then we have the third one is what we call mode. Mode is what we call the number that appears frequently or repeatedly several times than others. Is what we call what? Mode. And then the fourth one is what we call geometric mean. Geometric mean. Another central tendency, the last one, number 5, is what we call harmonic mean. Harmonic mean. These 5 types of averages are very important in statistics, and they actually help us to summarize the entire problem into this. Either we can say you can summarize the problem by getting the mean, median, mode, geometric mean, and harmonic mean. So there are 5 central tendencies. So let's go and discuss one by one. The first one is what we call arithmetic mean. Arithmetic mean. Now, for the sake of this particular lesson, I'm going to represent mean with the x with the bar on top. So when you see x with bar on top, that is an arithmetic what? Mean. And when we talk about arithmetic mean, we normally say we take the total value divided by the number of those items you are accounting. But now when it comes to statistics, we say summation. Okay? We change the word and say summation of x over n. In this case, this symbol here stands for summation. This x here stands for the value. That is the figures that you have actually want to sum up. Then n stands for the number of units. So if you take now the total divided by the number of units or items, the answer we get is what you call what? Arithmetic mean. Now, there are two methods or formulas that we are going to use to calculate arithmetic mean. The first one is what we call a direct method. Direct method. Now, when you talk about a direct method, you are just talking about a method that says you sum up the entire population or the data, then you divide by the number of items. You add them manually, then you divide by the number of items. That is what we call a direct method. And therefore, it is just saying summation of x over n. Correct? Now, if this method is very simple and direct, but you find that you might have huge data. That huge data now, you cannot use this one because you might find that in your calculator might not even support that. So you go to the second method. We call it what? Shortcut. Shortcut. We can call it shortcut or indirect method. In this case, we need to locate what we call the provisional mean, PM, a provisional mean. Then we add summation of deviation, summation of deviation, the summation of deviation over x, over n, sorry. Look at that. That in this case, I'm looking at the deviation. What is deviation? When we talk about a deviation, we are talking about the difference between the actual value and the provisional mean, the figure that you have selected to represent your mean. In this case, you just take any random number among the data, then you pick that number and make that number be what? A provisional mean. When you make that number provisional mean, then we come and use now the shortcut method by putting your provisional mean here, the number you have selected, plus summation. How far is this provisional mean from the observed data? Is what they call deviation. How far is that? Then from there, we add all the deviations and divide by n, which is the number of items. Then in this case, this number here, it can either be a positive or a negative. If it is a negative, we will subtract here. And if it will remain a positive, it means you will add. Okay? So let's go to our example. Let's go to our example. I have an example 1 there. So let's see an example here. Let's see an example. So we have this example here, which says we have the monthly earnings. We have the earnings here. The earnings are in 1,000, 1,200, 1,300, 1,100, 1,090, 1,010, 1,500, 1,900, 1,700, and 2,000. So how many items are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So your n is 10 here. Now, if you have been asked now to use, there are two methods. I said there are two methods of calculating what? Mean. So we can say mean, which is x, that like that is given by summation of x over n. Okay? So we now get the summation of x. There you add all these. When you take your calculator and press all these figures correctly, the answer you're supposed to get is 13,800. That is your summation. Already the value of x is there, which is what? 10. So in this case now it will be 13,800 divided by 10. Your answer is 1,380. That is your mean by use of what? Shortcut. No, by not shortcut but direct method. If you want now to use a shortcut method or indirect method, which is now we are saying mean equals to provisional mean plus summation of deviation x over n, sorry. Now when you talk about this number here, it means you are taking the observed data x, then you are subtracting your provisional what? Mean. So your observed data x minus your provisional mean will give you what they call deviation. So in this case, look at the data here. You pick any. You can pick 1,000, 1,200. Somebody can pick 13, somebody 11, or even 2,000, and make it PM. For my case now, let me pick my 1,500. Whichever the number you will pick from here, class, it will be automatically the same. It will be equal to the one that you have obtained from the first example. So let's see. I'm picking what? 1,500 to stand for my provisional mean. Correct? So let's see. Then I need to have another column here, which is now called deviation. And I've said this deviation here is the same as x minus provisional what? Mean. And instead of PM, I will put automatically my 1,500. So that now it will be this observed data here minus the common number 1500 all through. Okay? So if you now substitute, you will get now this minus that, you get negative 500, negative 300, negative 200, negative 400, negative 410, negative 490, 0, 400 positive, 200, 200, 500. Now, if you sum up all this, you will get 1200 negative. Okay? Once you have this one, you go to your formula here. Your formula was saying PM plus this. So it will be now PM, which is 1500 you have selected, plus, now because it is a negative here, it will change that side. So it will be negative 1200 divided by 10. So that you cancel. Your answer is 1380. So you can see it is giving you the same figures up there. Correct. We go to example 2. So example 2, we have the figures given here. So we have been given example figures. You have the values here. Values. We have 5. Okay, before I go to the example 2, sometimes you might be given the data that is in grouped data. When we talk about a grouped data, we are talking about the data that has been put into classes. For example, you want to know how many students scored A. So you can say A can run from 70 to 100%. So how many students in between there? It can be 30, 40, 100. That is what you call a class. So therefore, in most cases, an examiner will give you such a question that you are supposed to use the classes to calculate that. So if a question is given with frequency or with the number of items given in one particular class, we call it what? Frequency. And therefore, our formula will remain the same, but I'm going to change something here. If it is about the grouped data, that is the data that has been put into classes, I will say now my x there will be equals to summation. Instead of saying automatically x, I will say how many times x was appearing. If it is 2, I will say 2 times x. If it is 3, I will say 3 times x. If it is 10, I will say 10 times x. And therefore, in my shortcut method here, I will say that number, which is frequency, times that x should be equal to divided by summation of x. So this method here is what you call a direct method. The same you can use formula x equals to, if it is provision shortcut, you can say provisional mean plus, okay, summation of, so in this case now it is deviation. It is deviation. F then deviation x over summation of x. You can see there is nothing I'm doing much here. I've just said from my formula that I had, because it is a grouped data, I'm introducing F standing for frequency. And then for the deviation of x, I'm saying now that deviation multiplied by the value of x, and I will get the answer directly. So let's go to example 2. So example 2 class, we have the value here. The value here, we have the frequency there. So the value is 5, 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and 50. Frequency, we have 20, we have 43, we have 75, we have 67, we have 72, we have 45, we have 39, we have 9, we have 8, and 6. I think there is something missing. So we have 5, 10, 15, okay, sorry. This is 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and 50, which is now represented by 6. So this is the data. This is the grouped data because of the frequency. It means 5 is appearing 20 times, 10 is appearing 43 times, 15 is appearing 75 times, and so forth. So that is what they call what? Frequency. So if you see a question like this, it means you are multiplying. Now let's see. We can use either method. You choose either shortcut method or use your simple method or direct method. In this case, now let's use direct method immediately. Say now my mean x is given by what class? Here I'm saying you say summation. Instead of directly x, you say frequency times that x over summation of what? Frequency. I'm not saying n here because n you might make a mistake by saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wrong. Here I'm saying frequency, the number of times it is appearing. In this case, I can add this directly and get the answer. Or I use the word cumulative frequency. Cumulative what? Frequency. So when you talk about cumulative frequency, you are just adding like this. Okay? Or you just add directly like that. Now, from there, you can see they say fx. So the value, the data you are given is x. So you introduce here now fx. So you multiply like that. So the first one will give you 100, 420, 430, sorry, 1125, 1340, 1800, 1350, 1365, 360, 360, and 300. Total here is 8,530. For the frequency, the answer is 384. So, to get now your mean, your work is very simple now. Summation of fx is there now, given as 838, 85, 30. Divide by summation of fx is 384. Then what is your answer, class? So if you press your calculator, your answer is 22.251, like that. Now, if it is about a mean that you are using the provisional mean, you say provisional mean plus the summation of f dx over summation of f. Correct? So I because of time, I'm not going to show it directly here, but I just want to represent it here. Now, the first one, the up there says it is dx, meaning you take any provisional mean. In this case, pick any, assuming I've picked what? 25. So therefore, in this case, it will be x minus my 25. So you take now 5 minus 25, you get the answer all through until you reach here. Once you are here now, what you do, these answers you have here, you multiply by f dx. So the dx is already what you have here. So you only bring in what? F, which is frequency. So it will be 20 times that number you have. 40 times this, you get this. This times that, whatever like that, until you get the end. Then you come and substitute. That is example 2. Class. Sometimes you might be given a question that has a class. It doesn't have a direct x. The question does not have a direct value of x, but it is still in classes. What do you do, class? What do you do? Yes, you have a question that has been given that the value of x is not direct. If the value of x is not direct, you need to find out the value of x. And for that case, look at this example here. Look at this example. We have the marks here. We have 0 to 20, 20 to 30, to 40, sorry. Then 40 to 60, then 60 to 80, and 80 to 100. So these are the figures you have been given. So if a question like this is given, you need to find out where is x. So the x will be, in this case, the lower value plus the upper value divided by 2. When you talk about the lower value, I'm referring to the figures on the left. And the upper value, I'm referring to the figures on your right. So you say 0 plus 20 divided by 2. Then you say 20 plus 60 divided by 2, all up to the end, for you to find the middle number. That middle number is the value of x. So if you work out like that, the answer you get here is 5, 7. Oh, sorry. Here is 10, 30, 50, 70, and 90. That is your value of x. That is 180 divided by 2, you get 90. Oh, that is how it has been done. Then we have the frequency here. So the frequency given, you have been given the given frequency of 5, 7, 13, 8, 9, 7. So that is what you have been given. But this one was not there. We have just calculated by ourselves. What you are given is these ranges here together with the frequency. So what was missing is the value of x. Now, this value of x is what I found. Actually, it is supposed to be here because what you are given is this and that. So once you have this information, you are asked to find out the value of what is arithmetic mean. You choose whichever the method you want to use. The direct method is easier. You say mean is given by, now you say mean, okay, mean, which is x that equals to summation of fx divided by summation of f. So this formula you have written is what is going to direct you. That is exactly what is going to direct you, class. So you develop, you expand on this formula, on this data here to fit your formula. For example, I need now fx. Okay? So I bring here fx, which means this times this times this times all these figures up to the end. So if you work out that, class, your answer you get is 50, 210, 650, 560, and 630. So I have fx. When I bring in this sign here, you see this sign here? This sign stands for summation. So it means I add this. So your answer is 2100. 2100. So all these figures will give you 2100. Then I have fx. This one is summation. So summation of x here. Your answer there is 40. So once you have done this one, you come and work out in your formula. Say this now 2100 divided by 40. Your answer is 52.5. 52.5. That is how the mean was calculated. Is that okay, class? So we go to what we call a median. And I want us now to be very careful with the meaning of the word median here. Now, median. Now, when you talk about median here, when you talk about median, class, we are referring to the value, or we are referring to the value of the middle item. This is what we call value of the middle, item. That value of the middle item is what we call median. It means that the data you have is divided into 2 only. And mark that word. So the data is divided into 2. And for us to divide that data into 2, we have to ensure that we rearrange them from smallest to the largest, or from the largest to the smallest. That is from the ascending to descending, or from descending to ascending. So that is what we call what? Median. So when you divide now the value into 2, we call it what? Median. And therefore, how do we divide this one? How do we divide the data? Now, for us to divide the data, we normally say, we take n over 2. N is the number of items, or the number of data that you have. You divide by 2. When you divide by 2, you get now the middle item, not the median, class, middle item. When you divide by 2, you get the middle what? Item. And when you are saying n divided by 2, is it an odd number or an even number? That is very important when it comes to median. Now in this case, if the values adds up to even numbers, it will be n divided by 2. This formula here is used to obtain the middle number if the items are even. If the items are even. If the items are odd, we don't use this formula, but we use now n plus 1 divided by 2. The reason why I'm adding n is to make it even. If it was 5 divided by 2 cannot be even. Now, for me to make it even, I will take 5 plus 1. I divide by 2, so that now I will get my middle number, my middle item, which is now for the odd numbers. Get me, class? This is for the odd numbers. Now, sometimes you might be given again the frequency, that is the classes. Remember, my topics I normally handle from the simplest question to the hardest question. So this is the simplest part. What about the hardest part where you have been given the classes? So therefore, before I go to that, let's begin with the simplest one now and find out. So we have a question like this. We have the size here, size of shoes. The size of shoes given there are 5.5, 5.0, 6.0, 6.5, 7.5, and 7.5. So that is the size of what? Those are the sizes of shoes that we have been told to work out. From there, class, from there we have now the frequencies also. So let me see the frequencies. So we have the frequency here. Frequency represented by F there. This is 1, 2, 4, 5, 15, and 30. So we have been told to find what? To find the middle item, the median. In this case now, this is the frequency. Don't say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. If you have been given the frequency, you add all this so that you get the middle what? Item. You get my point? So, but before, if it is this case, you have to come up with what you call cumulative frequency. You add cumulative frequency. Cumulative frequency now means the running totals. So this is 1, plus that is 2, plus this is 6, plus that is 11, plus this is 20. 2, 1, 2, 4. So this one is this plus that's 2, 3, sorry, this is 3, plus that is 7, plus this is 11, 12, sorry, plus this is 27, plus that is 57. Now look at what has happened. When you sum up this, it is giving you 50. This is the total now, 57. It is the same as adding this one. If you add this like this, you will get 57. But when it is like this, when you are calculating median, we don't add directly, but you use the cumulative frequency. Look at how it is done. You take it there, you add this, you get this, you add this, you get this, you add this, you get this, add this, you get this, you add this, you get this. That is the total. Now, this total you are seeing here, is it an odd or even? It is an odd. So therefore, your median here, your middle item will be 57 plus 1 divided by 2. That is 58 divided by 1 gives you 29th item. 29th item. So your 29th item is where we have your middle item, your median. Your median is now in the 29th item. Where is 29th item? So you look at the cumulative frequency. So we have 27 here. 29 is here. So when you follow it carefully like this, you don't see anything here. So your size is 7.5. So your value is 7.5 size. So your median was for 30. That is 7.5. Class, that is when the question is simpler. But what will happen if you have been given a class? That is to say, it is not like this, but you have been given a class, like the one you have just done for median, for a mean. What do you do, class? Your work is very simple. For us to calculate median here, for that case, we normally say L plus I over F into M minus C. What is very important from this formula is to understand what each letter stands for. Now, L here stands for the lower value of the middle class. The lower value of the middle class, which I'm going to demonstrate that. Then I stands for the interval, the difference of the difference in the interval. The different interval, that's the difference between the difference in the class interval. Class interval. The difference between the upper and the lower is what you call the interval. Then we have X, frequency. This is the number of times that class is having. We are going to see that. Then we have M stand. This M is the middle number. How do you calculate the middle number? In this case, the middle number will depend whether it is an odd number or even number. Then C stands for cumulative frequency. This is a cumulative frequency preceding the middle class. The cumulative frequency preceding the middle class means that this is a number, this accumulative value that is selected before that middle class is selected, which means it is just above the middle class. If it says succeeding, it means that if the middle class is here, succeeding means below that. So preceding means after, before, sorry. Preceding means before. Then succeeding means after. So in this case, we are going to select the cumulative frequency before that class. Then we substitute in our formula. So for example, look at this data. We have the marks here. 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, 50 to 60, 70, 60 to 70, and 70 to 80. This is the class. This is now the grouped data you have been given. Correct? Now, I'm saying, take note of what is happening here. Again, you have been given the frequency. In this case, is students. Now, student stands for frequency. So in this case, we have 2, we have 18, we have 30, we have 45, we have 35, we have 20, we have 6, and we have 3. So we have the frequencies here. Now, I want to locate the lower value of the middle class, then interval of the middle class, frequency of the middle class. M is the middle class, then cumulative frequency, which means I need to get the cumulative frequency here. Okay? Cumulative frequency. I don't have, so you can develop it here. So for this case, develop is now by saying, you put it there like that. This is 20, this is 50, this is 95, this is 130, this one is 150, this is 156, and this is 159. You can see my cumulative frequency is 150 now, so it is an odd number. So in this case now, I can see I have already cumulative frequency I have worked out, but I don't know exactly the preceding above that. So once I've now developed my column for cumulative frequency, I bring in what? I bring in M, calculate for M. M is now given by 2 because of, N. N in this case is 59, but because it's an odd number, you add 1, divide by 2. This gives you 160. Add 160 divided by 2 gives you 80th item. Where is your 80th item? So my M is 80. My C, you now locate where is 80. Let's see now. We have 90, 95 is here, so it is in between here. So therefore, your 80th item will fall under this class. So you can see the lower class now there, the lower value is 30. Then F is the frequency, this one. Then this is where we have your class. Cumulative preceding. Where is it now? C is where now? Preceding means above this middle, above this class. So you select that. Once you have that, then you come and fit your formula now, class. So my L is 30 plus interval. The difference is now 40 minus 30 is 10. So you take 10, divide by frequency, which is 45 here. Then into M, are found to be 80, minus C, which is 50. If you work out that using your calculator, class, the answer you get there is 36.67. 36.67. That is your middle item. You can see how simple it is. Now, that is how you are supposed to work out this question. Sometimes, class, you might be forced to reshape this data. Sometimes, you might be forced to reshape this data. How do we reshape it? Sometimes, look at this question here. How do I reshape the data? Sometimes you might find that if you subtract this minus this, giving 10, 10, 10, right? But sometimes if you subtract, you get 9. If you get 9, that is not the correct interval. That is not the correct interval. So what you do, you reshape that data. How do we reshape the data, class? To reshape that data, let's see this example. Let's see this example. Yes, let's see this example, class, of reshaping the data. So we have the class, in this case we have the grade 50 to 59, 60 to 69, 70 to 79, 80 to 89, 90 to 99, 100 to 109, then 110 to 119. Now when you look at this data, class, 59 minus 50 is 9. 69 minus 60 is 9. All is 9. So it is not the correct interval. The correct interval should always be 5, 10, or 15, or 20, but not that odd number like that. So what you do, you need to reshape this data. How do you reshape? One, you subtract 0.5 from the lower values. Lower values are on your left. Then you add 0.5 to the upper values, that is on your right hand side, which means this side here you add 0.5, and this side here you subtract 0.5, so that now you get your 10 value. For example, here it will be now 49.5 to, so I have subtracted 0.5 so that I get 49.5. Then this one I will add now 0.5, which will give me that figure. This one here will be the same, that is 59.5 to 69.5. This one will be 69.5 to 79.5. This 79.5 to 89.5. This 89.5 to 99.5. Then 99.5 to 109.5. Then 109.5 to 119.5. So that now, when you subtract this figure, you get 10. So this is now your correct figure. So I am not going to use this. I'm going to use this one now. From here, once you have this, you have the frequencies given. So you are given frequencies here as 7, 81, 192, 312, 218, 82, 18. That is your frequency. Now, you see, I'm interpreting what I have. I have already the formula with me. Lower value, I don't know. Interval, I know it is 10. Frequency, I don't know. M, middle item, I can work out that middle item. But before the middle item, I need what? Cumulative frequency. So I will bring here cumulative frequency. So that now, this one will give you 7 plus that is 88 plus this is 280 plus this one is 592, plus this one is 810, plus that is 892, plus this one is 910. So I have the cumulative frequency. What is now remaining is the value of m, and the value of m is the middle item. So my work is to come out with the value of m. Now look at this one. This is an even number, so it automatically n divided by 2, which is 910 divided by 2. So if you work out that class, if you divide that question correctly, the answer you get is 455th item. 455th item. Where is it? Where does it fall? So that now I locate the class. Now let's see. 456, 55. It is in between here. So mean when I follow up, this is my class, and this is my frequency, and this is my cumulative frequency preceding. Mark that word, preceding. Then you come and substitute in your formula class. So in this case now, instead of 30, I will put 79.5. 10 divided by frequency of 312. Correct? 80, I will put 455. Then minus 280. So when you work out that using a calculator class, you will get 85.1. 85.1. So that is how to calculate your median. Very simple. So we have learned that if the interval is 9, you need to reshape. You need to reshape that value so that you get the correct interval. Now class, I move on. I'm still on median, but I want to discuss about something that goes together with median. Median, we have said that data is divided into 2 only. Now, sometimes, let me just write the data so that we learn. Before I write, let me just write there quartile. That's what I'm discussing. Quartile, decile, and percentile. Okay? We have already known what is the meaning of the word median. Median is to divide the entire data into 2 only. Sometimes you can say, I want to divide the data into 4 times. If you divide the data into 4 times, it means, look at what is going to happen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. For example, median, divide this data into 2. So I will come from this side, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So 5 like that. So you can see I don't have the middle. So I have the middle here, but I can get the median automatically by adding these 2. Correct? But now look at this data. I've divided the data into 2. When you divide the data into 2, we call that median. Correct? Then you can decide and say, let me go further and divide the first part of the numbers into 2 again. So you divide these numbers into 2 again. I will pick this and pick this. So my 3 is the middle number. So this is another middle number. Correct? This is a middle number here on the lower part. When I go to the upper side, I can again say, let me divide the data into 2 again. I'll have these 2 and these 2. So I will have my 9 there. So therefore, we have this figure here. This one is called quartile 1. And this one here is called quartile 3. It means that the data has been divided into 4. Why? Because we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the data is divided into 4. And this is what they call the quartile. Okay? If you decide to divide this data into 10 equal parts, we call it what? Decile. If you decide to divide this data again into 100 equal parts, it's what they call what? Percentile. So in simple terms, when you talk about quartile, The quartile means you have divided the data into 4 equal parts, and I've demonstrated it here. Decile means you have divided the data into 10 equal parts, and percentile means you have divided the data into 10 equal parts. And therefore, quartile, decile, and percentile is just the continuation of median. It is the continuation of median. Therefore, it is just the same formula of how to calculate what? Median. Okay? Therefore, it means, in this case here, we are going to say, how do we calculate median? For quartile 1, we are going to say, remember we are saying for the median, we were saying n divided by 2, and it will depend, right? If it is an even number. But if you take the quartile 1, it will be n divided by 4. If it is quartile 3, it will be 3n divided by 4. You can see. If it is decile, maybe D7, like that, it means 7n divided by 10. If it is D5, it means it is 5n divided by 10. See that, class? If it is percentile, we normally present with P, 10, it means it will be 10n divided by 100. If it is percentile 75, it will be P75 equals to 75n divided by 100. You can see how simple it is. So therefore, where there is m, where there was m, we will put now our Q1, Q3, 7, this and all that, then we work out that equation. So let's see from example. Let's see the example now here. So let me see example, class. So you have been told calculate Q1, Q3, and then from this data here. So we have the data given here as earnings in thousands. So we have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and 25,000. Then we have the frequency here. We have been given as 3, 6, 10, 15, 24, 42, 75, 90, 79, 55, 36, 26, 19, 13, and 17. That is your frequency. Now, you have been told to calculate, okay, quartile 1, quartile 3, calculate quartile 1, quartile 3, decile 7, and percentile 85. You can see that, class? Percentile, that is what you have been told to calculate. Now from here, I know for this one I will say it is n divided by 4. This one will be 3n divided by 4. This one will be 7n divided by 10. This one will be 85n divided by 100. Okay? So what is the value of n? From there, this is cumulative frequency. I need to calculate that cumulative frequency so that I get the correct value. So for the cumulative frequency, this one will be 3, 9, 19, 34, 58, 100, 175, 265, 344, 399, 435, 461, 480, 493, and 500. So I have the cumulative frequency. Then I come and substitute directly there. So n for Q1, n is 500 divided by 4. What is your answer, class? If you work out that, your answer you get is 1/25. 1/25. But 1/25 is not the answer. So you go and locate where is 1/26. It is in between here. So therefore you follow like that, then you locate. So the answer there is 17 shillings, 17,000. This one is still 3 times 500 divided by 4. If you work out that, class, you get 375th item. Where is 375th item? 375th item is here. You follow, then you locate. Your answer is 20. Then here is 7 times 500 divided by 10. What is your answer, class? The answer there is 3/50th item. Where is 3/50th? It is again 20. Then this is 85 times 500 divided by 100. What is your answer, class? 425th item. Where is 425th item? 425th item is here. You follow like that, then you find the answer is 21. So that is how you are supposed to calculate the quartile, decile, and the percentile. Now I'm going deeper into the same, but deeper kidogo for the sake of learning. So I'm going deeper. What if the grouped data is given, class? What if the grouped data is given? So we have this data here. We have data here. We have 0 to 10. We have 10 to 20. We have 20 to 30. We have 30 to 40. We have 40 to 50. We have 50 to 60. We have 60 to 70. And we have 70 to 80. Are you seeing that, class? That is the figure we have. Then we have the frequency here. So we have been given frequency as 2, 7, 21, 25, 30, 35, 28, and 12. Now, I want to find out what? I want to find out quartile. So you have been asked to calculate, let me write them here. Calculate Q1, calculate Q3, calculate D3, and calculate P40. Are you seeing that, class? Now, because it is in this form here, we cannot say it is just what we cannot take the way we have done the first one. No. In this case now, it will be still L plus I over F into M, okay, minus C, like that. This one is still L plus I over F into M minus C. Then here is L plus 1 over, now 1 over I over F into M. I've said is a continuation of median. So L plus 1 over F, into M minus C. Now in this case, we have said if it is quartile, you say N divided by 4. So here, this one disappears. And again now, N divided by 4. This one is 3N divided by 4. This one, 3N divided by 10. This one, 40N divided by 100. You can see. That's what I have to say. Once you have this information, what is this? Cumulative free, which means develop cumulative frequency here immediately. So that now it fits into your equation. So when you develop the cumulative frequency, there is 9, 2, 9, 30, 55, 85, 120, 148, and 160. So I have my cumulative frequency. You fit in immediately here. Now, N, what is N there, class? What is your N there? So in this case, your nth is 160 divided by 40 gives you 40th item. 40th item. Where is your 40th item? You come and locate it here. It is in between here. So that is the class. No, you see that? Frequency. Then, simple like that. Once you are through with this, then you come and substitute in your L is what? 30 plus 10 over frequency, 25, into brackets. 4 over 4 is 4, n over 4 is 40th minus 30th. If you work out substitution carefully, what is your answer class there? 34. You will get your 34. That is your answer. Then 3q here. You come here and work out 3 times 160 divided by 44. What is your answer there, class? If you work out that, class, you get 120. 20th. Where is your 120th, class? You work out, it is here. So you follow, that is it now. So it means your L is 50 plus 10 over, so this and that. So over 35 into 120 minus 85. What is your answer, class? So if you press your calculator, your answer is 60. Alright, go to these 3. This one here, it tells you this 3 times 160. Okay, 160, this 3 divided by 10. What is the answer, class? If you work out that, class, your answer you get is 48th. 48th item. So where is your 48th item? 48th item is in between here. So it means you are using this one. So it gives you 30 plus 10 over frequency 25 into brackets 48 minus 30. So if you work out this, class, your answer you are going to get there is 37.2. Then we said P40. That was the answer, P40. So it's the same. P40 is L plus I over F into 40N divided by 100 minus C. So work out for what is your 40th. 40N over 100, class. So 40 times that, what you get? 40 times 160 divided by 100. Your answer is 64th. So where is your 64th, class? 64th is in between here. So it is this one. So you follow it like that. That is it now. Your frequency then 55. So it will be 40 plus 10 over frequency. Frequency we said is 30 into 64 minus 55. When you work out that question correctly, the answer you get is 43. That is how you are supposed to calculate quartile, decile, and the percentile. You can see how simple it is. So it's a continuation of mean. Correct. So I'm now switching on to the last one, third last. Now we have what they call mode. Mode. Remember, once you have understood from the beginning, that is average, that is arithmetic mean and median, then to calculate mode is also very easy. We have 3 formulas for mode, class. The first one is, how do you calculate mode? Mode is calculated by L plus I over F into brackets, class. Are you seeing that? So I want to calculate the model, class. Sorry. This is a bit different, just a small part. So it's L plus, then we can say frequency of M over 2FM plus, minus F1 minus F2. I'm going to explain what is the meaning of that, times I. That is the first formula. The second formula is L plus F2 over F1 plus F2 times I. The third one is L plus So the third one is 3 median minus 2 arithmetic mean. 3 median minus 2 arithmetic mean, which means 3 times median that you might have calculated, or you are supposed to calculate, minus 2 times arithmetic mean. You have known how to calculate arithmetic mean, right? The same formula. Then median, you have known how to calculate median. Yes, use this. Then substitute, work out this one. Now, let me interpret what is the meaning of the word FM.